Welcome back. This is The Dash. Thank you for tuning in today. This is the last day of March, and it's the last day of Women's History Month, so I'm so glad that I was able to catch up with Nefateri Smalls. We were supposed to meet and have this interview, but didn't think it was going to work out. But I caught her just in time. Met her at an empowerment conference, and her husband was there too, Oddie Smalls. These are two amazing people, both of the ministry. They have 2 books out. There's a movie coming out called Escape to Tell. It's been picked up by the state of South Carolina to be toured. It's just been such a blessing since I met them, so I'm excited to share their story. Nefateri's story is one like I've never heard in my life before. She's been through sexual abuse, domestic abuse, all kinds of things, and you can't share a lot of her story here because you have to go and buy the books. So you can catch those notes and links in tregammage.com. And you can look at the podcast section for the top takeaways, quotes, and side notes. All of her links will be there to both books, the movie, and the #1 independent song that she's had to go along with the soundtrack. So I'm excited for what Nefateri and Mr. Oddie Smalls have to say today. They talk about their relationship, they talk about their organization, Healing Hurts, and they talk about their life and what they mean to each other. This is The Dash. Nefateri, on your website, and Oddie, on your website, it says that God has given you a heart for hurting people. Can you explain a little bit more to me and the audience what that means for you?
Of course. It means that from the depth of hurt that we've encountered, it makes us not just desire to be transparent so that other people can see the journey of how we got to being whole, but also helping them recognize that they don't have to go through it by themselves. Oddie says it a lot about offering people a leg up and not a handout.
Right.
You know, we don't want to be the crutch. We just want to help you be able to realize that you can walk, even with a limp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense.
Sometimes the weight of the world has become so consistent that when God set you free, you really don't know that you're free until you bring forth an effort to move forward. As Jesus asked the man at the pool, pick up your bed and walk. You know, he didn't just tell him to pick up the bed and stay there.
Right.
Pick up your bed and walk. You got to move with that load that is on you. And as you find, as you begin to move, it gets lighter and lighter, and you go further and further in life.
So what about, because your organization, and to not skip too many beats, with your 501c3 and your website, Healing Hurts, it's about providing advocacy for the domestic violence and sexual abuse. So what is it about your past, and what can you tell me about your past that makes giving back to people that are hurting so valuable?
Well, I think that whenever we come through issues like domestic violence and sexual assault, it's imperative that we do show not just the people who are going through similar situations, but just showing the world that there is hope beyond what you're going through. So we try to go from both the preventive side as well as the response side. And prevention, we want to facilitate training so that we can, curb some of those numbers of people being abused. And then on the flip side of that, we also want to make sure that we're extending hope to those who have gone through it, to say that you don't have to die here. You can pick up those broken pieces and still live a quote-unquote normal life, whatever that is.
Wow. Now, your story, is again like one that I haven't seen, and that's documented in both of your books, Cries from Within and Identity Chasers. You've also been able to make the movie Escape to Tell, and you've been able to create the 501c3 Healing Hurts.
Well, honestly, I look at it in a different light, I guess. So we're actually healing hurts.
Okay.
The "the" is just silent. So in my journey, it's not necessarily that pain was inflicted to go through the healing process, other than having to face some of those situations. In one of the books, in my first book, I talk about Alcohol Anonymous.
Okay.
How they deem it important for you to say, my name is, and I'm an alcoholic. because once you can identify with where you are, that's when that healing actually begins. So the journey to wholeness, oftentimes you're going to have to look whatever you're dealing with face to face, you know, before you can actually get to that place where it doesn't hurt anymore.
How long, in your experiences, you know, going through domestic abuse and sexual violence, how long did it take you to look in the mirror and identify? What did you have to identify in order to come out of that place and be able to heal others?
Well, I think for a long time, I didn't really deal with it. I just kind of kept going. And to me, going made me feel like I was living.
Okay.
But because there was so many years of abuse in there, I really didn't know where to begin.
Right.
It wasn't until I accepted Christ as my personal Savior that I really, really realized how broken I was. And it was at that point that I knew that what I was doing I could no longer do.
Right.
But I identified myself by my hurt. I wasn't just Nefateri. I was Nefateri, the rape victim. You know, Nefateri, the neglect, you know. And I had to realize that all of those things that I encountered, you know, I'm either going to allow them to break me, or I'm going to use those experiences that could break me and make something positive of them. You know, and that's what I chose to do through the books, through the movie, through the 501c3, is showing people that the sum of who you are is not just the positive times, but it's the negatives and the positives.
That's real right there. Oddie, do you have something to add to that as well?
Well, I was sitting here listening and knowing the story. What Neff used to help, I would say, to get through the pain that she endured was by writing and by putting on paper and expressing that which is on the inside.
Wow.
Oftentimes, our thought what keeps us in prison.
Okay.
Oftentimes, being shut up in our heart keeps us in prison. But once you begin to release those things, that's when you find a way of escape. And I think, you know, like I said, just by talking to her, term escape to tell.
Right.
It really allowed her to escape from the hurt, from the rape, from the mistrust, the abuse. Allow her to escape through the pen and tell her story.
Wow.
And now we're able to tell the story to others, and so that they too can escape. And they find an outlet to release that bottle up stress or problem.
And I love a statement. Actually, you said it earlier, Nefateri, but I think, Oddie, you brought it back around. You said identified by hurt. And I think that's a very powerful statement right there. And I noticed myself in my own personal internal struggles, I do much better when I put my thoughts on paper, whether it's writing a prayer in the morning or whether it's saying things that I'm grateful for. When I'm able to take the pain that's in my head and in my heart and in my stomach and put it on paper, it's like some way it stays there. And when I let it go and I close that book, it just gets to stay right there. How do you feel when you write?
I think I would have to agree, because to be honest, I think if I shared some of the things that I were feeling at the time, I don't know if who I'm communicating it to will understand the depth of what I'm experiencing.
Wow.
So I feel like I get a chance to be even more open and transparent when I put it on paper, because nobody's judging my thoughts. You know, nobody's, I'm not looking for validation in that moment. I'm just looking for a time to release.
Okay. And I feel like it's almost in a past tense type of thing. I know I write in journals. I haven't released any book, but I used to be so private with my journals and just keep them to myself and didn't want anybody to read them. But now I'm okay with sharing those journals with other people, because I know that those are my thoughts and the emotions and the things that I experienced in my past, and that's what helped me get to where I am right now. And it's almost like you're, escape to tell. You're documenting the journey of how you got to where you're at now. I think about our conversation from, was that Saturday night at the Empowerment Gala with Deirdre McLeod, and we were talking about sowing seeds before she talked, me and you, Oddie, and that has been in my head since that day. And even as I interviewed some more episodes for the podcast, that has been a topic of discussion for the 3 interviews that I've done before this one. So I think it's by no mistake that that's happened. And can you just talk to me about sowing the seeds? Because I looked at it, when I hear about reaping what you sow, I always looked at the seeds that I was sowing in myself, the decisions that I made to make myself better. I didn't think about dropping those seeds off on other people. And when I did, I only thought about the people that gave me the result that I wanted in return. But you guys gave me a different perspective on that.
As Scripture talks about, you reap what you sow. And it behooves us as individuals, as we go through life, to sow good seeds, because reaping time will come. And I use the analogy of sowing 1 grain of corn in the ground. And from that 1 grain comes a stalk. And on each stalk has 3 to 4 ears of corn. And each 4 ears of corn has 300 to 500 grains of corn. So you see how it multiplied, reaping what you sow. On the flip side of that, you will reap what you sow. If you sow bad seeds, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back to bad, you know. So yeah, you try to sow good seeds and sow into people's lives, because you know a day of harvest is gonna come.
I like that, and I think it culminated for me when I read Ezekiel 33, and the pre-passage kind of talked about how God gave you a job and you're responsible for that job, not the result or the outcome of it. You know, you're a watchman and your job is to blow the trumpet. You know, anybody who doesn't listen, that blood is on their head. But if you don't blow the trumpet, then it's on yours. So sowing that seed, you know, even on the people that fall on deaf ears, if it falls on their ears, that's a deep, profound statement that I received from y'all and did not expect to see. And that was due to a seed that was sown in me that I didn't know that I was supposed to receive.
Absolutely. By being there that night.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And to preface that is because I received a ticket that from someone who was not able to attend that event, that I was able to see you guys and get the interview in the first place. And so, Oddie, I have a question for you as well, because this is both of your second marriage, correct?
Correct.
And I saw that a woman seeks to turn the world upside down, is what Proverbs said. How has being with Nefateri Smalls turned your life upside down?
Now, how much time do we have on this?
We got as much time as you need.
Well, I'm telling you, I never saw this in my life, Trey. Back in 2011, 2010, 2009, just going back, 2007, I never seen any of this coming this way. After 2012, when we got married, man, life has not been the same. You know, there's a hymn that we sing in the church. Life has swift transitions.
Okay.
And let me tell you, this has been a swift transition for the good. For the good. I'm telling you, being part of a movie cast, being part of a new business, being part of family life, being part of marriage counsel, just being part of something that is very holistic to mankind as a whole.
Right.
Those issues that I dealt with prior to meeting them, they were real. But now the solution to those problems has come wrapped up in this little brown lady right here.
How do you feel, wife? After hearing that, shoot, that's pretty good.
That was good. I think that's some brownie points there. I often tell him, you know, there was a lot of potential of seed we just talked about,
right,
that I carried, but it wasn't until after I met him that there was those bigger things begin to come into fruition. And I think it comes from, because those seeds were there and having good covering, you know, the ground was just right. For me to give birth to a lot of those things. And so, you know, I'm sure every day we're not sitting around, you know, looking googly-eyed, but we can both agree that this was a divine connection.
For sure.
That our lives were made better because of one another.
No doubt, and that's relevant in all that y'all do together. You know, from your 501c3 to your movie and producing it and providing the funding for the movie. You guys do everything together. Do you ever get tired of each other?
Yeah.
No, the real question, how are you able, what kind of bond does it take to be able to have an intimate married relationship and a working business relationship?
Well, I think it takes focus. You know, you have to take yourself, your personal self, out of the equation and know that what we're doing is bigger than she or myself. You know, we're here for a purpose. And that purpose is to reach the nation. And if we allow our own personal, whatever, misunderstanding and grievances begin to generate among ourselves, then we're going to lose focus of the purpose. For me, it is to stay focused to the purpose of what God has called.
Okay.
I think I shared with Oddie one time before in the past, and I think I can say this on the podcast. There's
always editing now. This is not live.
There's a difference when you're married to somebody and you're just looking for the fringe benefits.
Okay.
But I think it's a beautiful thing when you're married to somebody and you like the person you're married to. There's a friendship involved, and that to me is the most important, because when life is happening around us and the weight of ministry is a weight,
right?
You know, it feels good just to have somebody just to laugh with, to live with, to, you know, share a funny joke, you know, whatever the case may be. And those things just makes the journey a little better.
Wow, okay. That's good. So in your journey creating a movie, now neither one of you have film experience, neither one of you are producers or directors. You did write your book, but you turned your book into a screenplay, and it's now been picked up by South Carolina and trying to take it national. Take me through that journey. How in the world do you make a movie?
Jesus. Oh my gosh. It was definitely something that we weren't anticipating having to do. And then when we got the opportunity, I thought that the people that we were connecting with would do it for us. And they basically just sat down and said, okay, you got to turn this book into a conversation piece, and you got to be able to fill the gaps. It has to flow, and, you know, and so we prayed, and we understand that where there's vision, God makes provision.
Okay.
So we prayed, we did research, and we just began to write. And after writing, we know the next step was getting people to actually portray those roles. So we did casting calls, and I mean, the actors and actresses just fell into place, which was phenomenal. And it took us 3 years to shoot the movie.
Wow.
Which was many weekends. We celebrated anniversaries on the set, birthdays on the set, and long hours. And this was while both working full-time jobs, pastoring churches, and 5 kids and 2 grandkids.
Wow.
Well, Trey, let me tell you one of the things that we use, what we know about, we knew about prayer.
Okay.
Prayer was you said, tell us, how do you do about it? We wasn't producers, we never made a movie, we don't know the ins and outs of the whole gamut of the film industry, per se. One thing we do know, we did know, is prayer. So before every casting call, before every shoot, we opened it up with a prayer.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, prayer made the difference.
I believe it. I believe it.
That's it. That's it. I lean on nothing else. Don't lean on my own understanding. Don't lean on the books that I read, but prayer. Prayer is the key.
Prayer is it all. Of that process, you know, through your prayer and through the whole journey, it's out now. So what is something that you learned from your experience that you did not expect to gain along the way?
I think if I could say there's one thing that I learned is, and I shared this at the Building You conference, if a dream seems attainable, if it looks like you can do it, then it's not God.
Mm.
But it taught me not to be afraid of how big your dream is.
Mm.
To face it head on. And in those moments when I felt like it wasn't working or it wasn't going the way that I thought that it should, I felt like I was beginning to shoulder a mantle that I was never meant to carry.
Wow.
So I kept reminding myself, I didn't ask for the movie. So if it fails, it's because God fails. And I know he's not going to fail me. So, I kept throwing my independence or interdependence back on him.
Right.
To perform. So that would be my take.
Okay.
And it's a faith walk.
Oh, God, yes.
It's a faith walk. Yeah, it's a faith.
It has to be. It has to be. What's coming next for you guys as you culminate both? Oh, actually, we talked about the mentoring the other day, Oddie, me and you. Tell me about the mentoring aspect of what you're putting together as well to go along with the rest of your work.
Well, the mentoring is part of Let's Talk. When we talk about, I'm getting men together to talk about issues. Oftentimes, men, we react, but if we become more proactive, we can solve a lot of the problems, and the domestic violence rate will go down also if men were more proactive. Oftentimes, the frustration and aggravation and whatever else has built up, that's when all the other energy is just go away.
Right.
So God has given me this Let's Talk. It's come from Isaiah, the first chapter in the 18th verse.
Okay.
Come, let us reason together, says the Lord. So though your sins are scarlet, I'll make them. So he just wanted to talk. So that's what we want to do. I want to talk with the men and find out what's going on with them, or let them know it's not as bad as you deem it to be so.
Right.
And we can discuss it. We can talk about it.
Right.
So that's what it is.
Because you also, when I think is huge too, or what I think is huge, you said you don't want to fix anybody. You're not looking to fix anybody. What are you trying to do?
I'm just trying to let them come to them. Let them come to themselves and know that they have the answer within them, which is the power of God. Scripture says, "What is man that God is so mindful of them that He made them a little lower than the angels of the earth?" So I'm not trying to fix them, but I want to help them to recognize the strength, the power that they possess. As men, God really has great expectation and high admiration for you as a man. He made you and He has crowned you with glory and with honor. So that's why I just want you to understand who you are as a man. And then when you take on that role for whom you are, you walk in the royalty that you are.
Okay.
You walk with the mindset that you are. You won't look down, won't think down. You'll be able to change things by your tongue.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Yeah. Nefateri, you looking at him like he said too much. What do you think?
Oh, I'm just listening.
Oh, no, you were passionate about that subject, and I think that's so powerful for young folks now. I think looking at generationally, young people are everything now, and I know young people have always been the future, but in my own generation, I'm on the back end, and there's over 70 million millennials in my generation, and coming up next, the people I'm supervising and the people I'm working with are Generation Z, and there's over 80 million of them, and there's only 400 million people in America, so that's 140, 150 million people that are coming up. 80 million coming up through those high school ranks for the next 15 years and so on, and really engulfing the world with youth, because we're the largest workers in the workforce now, the largest employment. We have the most people. Baby boomers are dying off. Generation X was really small, so they were never really in power for very long. So really, this next generation is coming up fast. How important is it for us to really continue to share the message, whether it be Escape to Tell, Healing Hurts, Let's Talk, the Dash Podcast? How important is it to get young people going quickly?
I think it's very important because we're talking about over the next 5 years or so, those generations following, they're going to be the ones making the decisions for for the remainder of the world. And so I was just having a conversation with one of my teenagers today, telling them we have a responsibility as parents to release them into the world as whole young adults. And with that being said, we can't necessarily soften the blow of life experiences that they may encounter. But when you leave here, I want you to have a full toolbox of equipment to know how to apply whatever you need to apply to life, to make sound decisions, to be sober, and giving them the right tools to make sure that they know exactly what to do when life begins to happen around them.
And Tre, to add to that, they are the voters that will help shape our society.
Right.
If you think about that in itself, it can be compelling, but yet it is real. So that's why people like Neff and myself, we must be about our father's business in bringing up that new generation and help to shape their thinking and their mind because of the impact that they're going to have on society.
Okay.
And now listen, I don't want to get on my political horse, but look at this election that just went through.
Of course.
You got an idea what I'm telling you about.
Certainly.
What is to come.
Certainly.
If we don't get it right.
And I think it's the swing is going to happen. The pendulum is going to swing fast, and there's not going to be much of a choice because the young folks are coming. So, we have to get it one way or the other. Whatever we have, whatever we instill is what the world and the nation is going to become. What are the top 3 tools that you have to share with your children before they get out into the world and for young people in general or for people in general?
I would say definitely knowing who you are, number one. When you know who you are, you're less influenced by the things that are around you. Knowing whose you are, because that gives you an assignment and a purpose in life, that you know what to connect to. And then thirdly, making sure that you associate yourself with people who are going in a positive direction.
Okay. Who you are, whose you are, and who you're with.
That's it.
Okay.
That was hot off the press.
That was good. That was real. I'm writing that one down as we speak. Hold on. I got to pause the episode real quick.
How did you phrase it?
What 3 tools? Equipping young people for tools. What tools do you have to equip young folks with in the world?
Well, having courage to step out and be themselves. Don't try to fit in,
Right.
And secondly, would to have an identity of yourself. Know who you are. Well, I guess we already covered that. But have your true identity of yourself. Because if you're not sure who you are, then there's no way that you can try to sway someone else.
For sure.
But if you have courage and true identity and be comfortable in who you are, God has made you special and unique for your particular person.
Most certainly.
He has made you special and unique for your own. But if you try to conform to everyone else, then they can't see who you are, or you won't be able to appreciate the goodness of whom God has made you to be.
There you go. That's good right there. Normally I would end the episode right there and just on some straight, great, profound, conventional wisdom of some parts. But we've talked around Escape to Tell. We've talked around Identity Chasers in the books. I want you to tell me everything that we need to know about the books and why we need to go see them and where we can go pick all these things up at.
Awesome. So you can visit our webpage at www.healinghurts.org to access our 501c3 nonprofit, to find out about the supportive services that we offer and the advocacy that we do in our community and throughout the world for domestic violence and sexual assault. For the film, you can go to www.escapetotell.com, and that escape has a D on the end, and that is to find out about the film. We have a viewing that's coming up April 21st at the Flowertown Theater at 133 South Main Street in Summerville, South Carolina, and that's going to be at 7 p.m. The reason why you need to be there is because we have a responsibility to bring healing to the hurting, one life at a time. And God has given us various modes to be able to get that done. by the books, by the film, and by our organization. We realize that not everybody has dealt with domestic violence. Not everybody has dealt with sexual assault, but everybody has been hurt at some point in their life. And through watching the steps of somebody else endure life, it may save you from maybe falling on your face in your own.
You didn't mention the song.
Oh, and we also have that was a good ending. That was like, bam. Okay, you can also find our single of Escape to Tell on Google Play, Amazon, CD Baby, on several media outlets. And the song itself has been rocking the hearts of many who've listened to it. We've gotten great reviews. We actually have a red carpet event that's coming up in July where we actually won the best contemporary song, our inspirational song of the year, and best independent song featuring a gospel artist.
Thank you for listening to The Dash. Thank you, Nefateri and Oddie, for coming on. I enjoyed that episode so much, and I hope that you did too. Take the time to check out her books, check out the music, check out the movie. If you're in South Carolina, see if you can go to one of the showcases. If you're not, wait for it to come out online. Find a way that we can support and keep sharing and spreading this message, man. There's so much love going on in this world. There's so many positive things. If we could just stay focused on that and help one person help themselves, it's amazing what we can do. The story that they told me with this movie, a woman came up and she was able to buy her first gown. She had never bought a dress before in her life. She was 70 years old, never bought a dress. And she saw this movie and it gave her enough confidence to go out and buy her first dress. That's something that can seem like a really small thing to a lot of people, but that held a woman back for 70 years of her life. Healing hurts, and you can be identified by your hurt. You don't have to stay there. Stay tuned for what's coming up. Remember, we've got Shift coming up. There's a new date, April 29th, 2 to 4 at Mezzo Forte Restaurant and Playhouse. We'll see you next time. This is The Dash.